Welcome to podcast 10, online shopping choices based on the pollution rate and the next steps. In 3 steps we go. The world after Corona, where is the money? A podcast for businesses by trend forecaster The Lady in Blue about the future and how to translate the future into opportunities or new directions in the terms of products, product lines, new markets, investment areas and marketing concepts. And on theladyinblue.com, without the E on the end, you can find more information about the exclusive bi-weekly trend forecasting membership The World After and about our trainings and sessions Embrace the Future.
Lady in blue, what do you do? The world after. Lady in blue, where's the money? The lady in blue, world after. Where's the money?
All right, then we go over to online choices based on pollution rate. I start with an example, and that is like in 2015, I broke my iron. And I was in a hurry. I had to go and give a presentation in Norway. And I was like, okay, let's order quickly an iron online. And opened like an overview web shop kind of thing. And what I saw was kind of like embarrassing and confusion, because I found a whole list of irons which all looked like the same. They had all the same kind of prices. They almost all were kind of well-known okay labels, same price and same kind of functionality, but also it was confusing thing because I wasn't sure of all the functionalities, what it meant. So it's like, what are you going to do? And I saw this kind of casino of everything the same and okay, but not the same. And I realized, what are you going to do? And I was like, in the future, the consumer will start to choose in this kind of occasion for the most sustainable iron in the row of all of them, because that is the most important thing to them. If we are in a step that they're all okay, then why not? If we even don't understand the differences, we don't see the difference in shape, in design, let's choose the one with the less pollution, with the less high pollution rate. And now, recently, on Google Flights, I found the same. There were like many flights and you could see the pollution rate. And now I come to my story. We came to a step that the most important choice of the consumer for their products online, where they can easily be compared, is the pollution rate. And this is especially important for products that are kind of all the same. And probably as a producer or a label, you think, but we are different. But look a little bit in overview. Often it's not like that. So we think that all the eyeliners are not the same when we are a producer, but in a way they're also similar. Maybe the brush is a bit different. Maybe blah, 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 blah. It's nothing. Same with sports shoes. In the end, they're all the same. Even the jeans are rather comparable. Imagine you're a person from 100 years ago. You will understand that when you saw the jeans, were like, oh, all the same. Crisps, so many products, they are almost all the same. And in this category, people will start choosing for the less polluting product, even though they might have that on a higher priority list than the difference in price, then a slightly different in functionality, etc. coming back to the airplane, flying is something a lot of people realize now it's something they prefer not to do for the environment. If they do it, they will start picking based on the pollution rate instead of service, price, prestige, and even safety. And that might be shocking to hear, because a lot of airlines have been working on their safety, their service, their prestigious image. And there they go. All of a sudden, the consumer can't care about those, and they just choose for the lowest pollution rate. So the question is what to do. I come in 3 steps. And first I make a little resume. So what's happening? There are many groups where all products are easily to be compared, especially online. That is because nowadays almost all well-known brands and even unknown brands have acceptable quality. They are extremely similar in price, functionality, design, and service, and sometimes even prestige. Pollution rates will be indicated online and comparable in a situation that online shopping can be overwhelming. So too many products that can be all compared but not the same and the same. So the environmental consumer, the conscious consumer, will make their final decision based on the product's environmental impact. Seeing a lower pollution rate even might convince them to spend more money, choose less good design, less prestige, or less service. And this is going to happen in the web shops for fashion, cosmetics, food, interior, electronics, airlines, etc. And you might think I'm rather unique, but you have to overfly to your look above and see how different and how relevant the difference of your product, prestige, quality, etc. of your product is compared to the others. So that's the situation we are almost in, are half in, and is happening now. And then we come with the 3 steps what to do. And I like to start with an example. And that example of the 3 steps is the cars. The first step was that we realized cars were polluting. And what did we do? We started making them less polluting by using gasoline that was less polluting, oil that was less polluting, putting a catalysator on it. So like modifications a little bit to make it less polluting. That's number 1. So pollution rate down from the existing product. Step 1 that was. Step 2, we were rethinking the cars and making electronical cars. So another system within the car. So making it more sustainable by driving it electric. So that is step 2, modification, real modification within the concept. And then the real step is 3, going back to scratch. And think about, what does a car do? It goes from A to B, not too long distance over the earth. So it's not through the air high, but for 3 kilometers or something like that. And what do we need? Knowing what is producing the pollution. So you go back to the base and then redo it. And that might be an entirely different concept, like cars that are like not cars anymore. It's a train, it's maybe magnetic, it's like flying over the ground, like 10 meters above. So it's like a completely different concept. And that's the next step we have to go through, because we are now informed about what is polluting, and then modifications on whatever we made is not the real thing. So go back to the base of what it needs to do, and then you rebuild it again. In other words, as soon as possible. Step 1. Polluting rate as low as possible, because that becomes the selling point. And that is for the category groups comparable. And as I try to explain, most of the groups are like that. So be aware of that. And another thing is, of course, be really, really, really unique. So you can't be compared. So you jump out of that comparable group, but then really. And it can be like in art, you can see it, like it's almost difficult to compare two pieces of art. Or it's in planes, it's like a unique plane that does something like no other does. Maybe private, but then even there is the comparison. But, so it's like, it should be really, really, really different. And of course, also in the different group, you have to try to get your pollution down, because of course there it will come as well. So in this group, you like reduce on every item of your existing product the pollution rate, like the oil for the cars, the catalysator, etc. Step 2 is rethink the product as it is, but not entirely, but like the concept of the product. So for the mascara, it will be a less polluting system, a less, a concept that is still a mascara, but on a different way, like the electronical car. So think about that concept. And then step 3, that looks a little bit the same, but it is not, is going to a completely different product. So there you start thinking about, what does a mascara do? A mascara puts a line on the eye for a day. Maybe you can find a laser that can do that line and that it stays only for a day. So you go to another product, another completely different, but that can be on the long term the real decision. So there again, you analyze, what does my product do without all the recent history and development, and you start from scratch and invent another system to do it that way. And if you rethink that last concept, it is immaterial. And that might sound like a far away from my bed show, let's wait until the next generation, but it can be really soon, and you can be the first to do it and, be famous for it as a label, make the money, and reduce on environmental impact. And what we have seen with the second step, electronical cars, also there everybody said, well, it's not possible because you have to load them. There are no stations for it. And all of a sudden it's there. So in a way, time goes much faster than we realize, the developments in the time. And also, a lot of companies have a lot of people in their company, and you have to make sure that they have a future as well. I mean, it's a shame if your company will be faded out in one boom because someone else does it. And we have seen that, like with the typewriting machines that were fading out by computer companies. We have seen it by Kodak, who is faded out by digital photography. And yes, the mascara company can be faded away in one boom by someone who has a clever laser thing to do it in one day. And it can go fast. And it's not only the mascara, but also the eyeliner. So be aware where you are. Make your plans for the short term, step 1. the longer term, step 2, and long term. And, you navigate through them and realize which step you are and what you're doing in each step. And when you go over to the next one, and working on step 1 and 2 doesn't mean you also have to have some people thinking about step 3. You do it on the line, on the sideline. So that is like the complexity of the future, but I think that's the complexity of life and having a company. Yeah, that is not easy, but also very nice at the same time. This story is also in words on one of our reports of the world after. There are already 200 publications. When you take a membership on the world after, you can also see all the 200 previous reports since Corona emerged March 2020. And also you can have a look at our website where there's more details about the membership, the world after, and also about our trainings. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in podcast 11.
What do you do?